Hey YouTube. A lot of times I bring you knife reviews of expensive knives in the hundreds of dollars or even thousands of dollars. But today I wanted to talk to you about a budget-friendly knife. This is the Kershaw Chill. It's an R.J. Martin design, and as custom knives go, he's one of my favorite knife designers. I really like the lines that he puts on knives, and I think that his knives are very handsome and some of the most elegant and just appealing, visually appealing knives in the industry. So before we get too far into the review, what I think is most impressive is that this knife is only $22. You can find it at some places for $20 or $18, but it's in that price range. It's $25 or less, basically. And I think you get a lot of value for your money. So the steel is 8CR13 MOV. You can see it's made in China. This is model 3410. And the steel it's an adequate steel for what I see is just an EDC knife. It's certainly going to be a softer steel than the things like CPM 154, S30V, and the more super steels that we see in the industry. But it's certainly a formidable steel. This knife came respectably sharp out of box, and after a few passes on my strop, it actually is now shaving sharp, which is nice to see. Again, it's still a knife, even though it's only $22. So it's nice to see it functioning. It's very sharp and it cuts pretty nicely. The blade is hollow ground, which helps give it a fine edge. You can see there some of the nice edge. The handle is large enough to get 4 fingers on it, and I wear a large size gloves, so if it finally focuses, you can see that I can get all 4 fingers on there pretty comfortably. It does have a lanyard hole if you wanted to slip some 550 cord through there. It has dual liners. I believe I'm going to say these are stainless steel, but I'm not positive. And obviously you can see it's a liner lock, and it's a good solid lockup. You're not going to be using this knife very hard, so I wouldn't worry too much about your lock failing or anything like that. It is on phosphor bronze washers, and it does flip out very well, as you've seen me do throughout this video. It's kind of, I like to do what I guess a lot of people are calling a light switch motion, where you just kind of pull straight down and flips out nicely in that fashion. Clip is reversible for tip up or tip down carry. You can see my preferred method of carry there is tip up. It does have a kind of like a 2/3 backspacer, and I would really prefer if the backspacer only came to that second screw, and if that third screw was not there at all, I think that would be wonderful. I feel like that you don't need a whole lot of strength in this particular knife, and I think that would make it easier to clean. But that being said, it's not really a deal breaker. And when you do have this knife in your hand, that flipper, of course, acts as a choil, and it's very comfortable. The thumb ramp isn't great. It's more aesthetic than anything else. I know a lot of R.J. Martin's designs, he has these thumb ramps, and a lot of his knives are larger. They're on the 3.7 inch or 4 inch size, and they are much more useful, but I don't think you really need a thumb ramp for this particular knife. Although it does, like I said, it is, in my opinion, aesthetically pleasing. You have your Torx screws if you need to take it apart or adjust the pivot. I have not needed to adjust the pivot, which is nice. Yeah, so it's interesting because, like I said, I'm a fan of the more expensive knives, but that doesn't mean that someone who is a fan of expensive knives can't appreciate budget knives. And I think Jim Skelton was actually talking about that on his Instagram a couple days ago. I'm not a big flipper buyer. I don't buy flippers very much because I just like using thumb studs or thumb holes in my EDC knives, but I found this very fun just to kind of flip and play with as I'm cruising around the internet, watching YouTube videos or on the forums. So perhaps I will start getting more flipper knives in the future. We'll have to see about that. But it carries nicely in the pocket. It does stick out more than I'd prefer, but you know, you have to live with that. And I think this is a great knife for, I know as a knife person, people always ask me what knife should I get. I just want a knife, but I don't want a very expensive knife. And I think if the person is open to this flipper mechanism, you know, I think this is a great knife, and a great knife to start with. And it's a cheap knife, but it will be, well, it's an inexpensive knife. I wouldn't say it's cheap. It's inexpensive, but it still is a very nice pocket knife. And so I guess let me compare it to, oh, you know what, I should say this has a 3-inch blade, and as a comparison, we'll compare it to a Delica, which in the 3-inch blade category for production knives, I think it is my favorite. So we can see that the blade lengths are pretty darn similar, although there's more cutting edge on the chill. And then the handles are also quite similar. Let's see if we can get the pivots lined up there. We can see that the Delica seems to have a bit of a larger handle, and I guess I would agree with that. I can get a more comfortable 4-finger grip on the Delica than on the chill, but it's not really a hindrance in my opinion. So I mentioned that it would be good for a person's first knife. But I think if you are even a seasoned knife collector, that you could enjoy this knife. It's the kind of thing where you could maybe take it to work and just leave it in your desk drawer in case you forget a knife while you're at work, or maybe leave it in your car, or like I'm doing, just playing with it along my next to my computer, you know, on my desk at home. So that's about it, guys. Just wanted to give you a review of a more budget-friendly knife, and definitely a fun knife to play with, and a great knife as far as function is concerned. So that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. If you've made it this far, perhaps you think I deserve a thumbs up rating. Those are always appreciated. And as always, be dressed to play and geared to slaughter. See ya.